It's time for Recipe of the Day. Who's ready to watch some commercials and eat some snacks? If it is you, on this special Sunday, I've got a great little condiment that you can add to almost anything you're making. So this is a garlic chili oil. And back in the day when I used to think of garlic chili oil, I thought of like Italian food, pizzerias. You know, you could dip your bread in it. You could stir it into pasta, put it on pizza. Nowadays, when I think of like a chili oil, my brain goes right away to chili crunch or like chili crisp. You know what I'm talking about? Stirred into rice, a dip for dumplings, all of that. So today's recipe starts with that basic old school, like Italian style garlic chili oil. And then we are kicking it up to our newfound favorite condiment, that chili crisp. So you can make it at home, customized to how you like it. So you're going to get out a small skillet and you're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. The recipe calls for olive oil, but really any kind of oil is going to be fine here. Just whatever cooking oil you like. And you're going to heat that over medium-low heat just until warmed. And then you're adding in 2 large cloves of garlic that you've minced. And I mean nice big ones. I actually measured and got like a teaspoon almost rounded from each one of them. So 2+ teaspoons of minced garlic. You're also adding a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Now that is your basic recipe and you can just proceed with the instructions that I'm going to give you and finish it like that. Or at the same time as the garlic and the red pepper flakes, you can add a teaspoon of sesame seeds. Now, I'll say that the sesame seeds are not really going to toast in the time that it takes the garlic to brown, so you can use toasted sesame seeds if you want, or just don't toast them first. It is up to you. So if you're adding the sesame seeds, you add those then, and then you're just stirring and cooking until the garlic is softened and just starting to slightly toast. You just want it like the lightest of brown colors. Then you are going to immediately scrape all of that flavored oil into a bowl or container. You want it to get off of contact with that skillet so that it stops cooking so that your garlic does not burn and get bitter. The garlic will be lightly toasted, which is going to give us some of the crunch, but it is not going to be burnt and bitter. That is the key. Okay. So you scrape that into your bowl or container, and then you're essentially done if you want that like classic Italian garlic oil I was telling you about. But I do recommend adding in a pinch or 2 of salt at this point. Just, I want to say to taste, but the oil is very hot. So if you're going to add a pinch of salt and then taste and see if it was enough for you, make sure you blow on that oil really well before it touches your tongue, right? But yeah, just that little bit of salt is going to round things out. But I'm about to tell you to stir in some soy sauce if you're taking this to that chili crunch, chili crisp level. And if you're going to be adding the soy sauce, then you do not add the salt because soy sauce is very salty. Okay. So like I said, you can stop there with just the oil and the garlic cloves and the red pepper flakes and the optional sesame seeds with the pinch of salt, and that is done. Or you can stir in 2 tablespoons of honey, and also if you'd like 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. You can stop after the honey or you can stop after the soy sauce. That's up to you. And you stir that up, and that is when it gets just that little bit thicker and a little sweet, a little salty, and you get the crunch from the garlic and the toasted red pepper flakes too. And it is very, very similar to that chili crunch. So good. Okay, I'm going to tell you that because there's garlic in there, I don't recommend that you store this for very long. You know, you hear bad things about garlic oils where it can go bad and you don't realize it. So my recommendation is you put that in a jar in the fridge for maximum 3 to 4 days. But like, it's so good, you're going to use it up right away. You're going to use it up today at your Super Bowl party, right? And you know what? This is that stuff that I told you about that I put on my whipped cottage cheese. That was without the honey and the soy sauce or the sesame seeds, although I think it would be good with all of that as well. And it's just a wonderful like little top for your hummus, for really any kind of dip. You could just put it on a plate as a bread dip. That is wonderful too. It is, like I said, amazing on rice. It's amazing stirred into like a pasta sauce. So you are going to use it very quickly, I promise. I'm going to put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is February 9th of 2025. And I want to remind you, if you love this recipe, or if you love any of the recipes from either of my websites, I would really appreciate it if you would go and leave a comment and a 5-star rating. So like if you've made one of the recipes that I've told you about in the past and you loved it, now is the time that you go back to that recipe and leave a comment and a 5-star rating. That really helps my business grow and helps me and others know what you loved about the recipe. So please make sure to do that every time you try one of those recipes. And I do know that you're doing it. I see you out there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great game day. Let's get cooking.